They're asking me to talk about my favorite FGW moments, and there's a lot of them. You know, the very first show, that was a very big moment because we fought so hard to get FGW up and running in Hamilton. We had to fight the city. We had to fight the retirement community across the street, But to come together and to win that fight so the younger talent at FGW had a place where they could work and learn. That was a big moment. Of course, the Cody Hawk Drew Skills match at Origin 2 at the end, when it just looked like Cody was down and out. All of the Hawk Army comes out, circles the ring to try to rally Cody for one last hurrah, and it worked. Cody pulled it off. That's one of my favorite moments. But the absolute favorite moment has to be when Brandon Day showed up at FGW, pretty much revealing the worst kept secret in all of professional wrestling, that Space Invader was in fact my son, Logan, who was also the referee, Logan Lynn, at one time. And just what transpired from then on out with Brandon just destroying Logan, beating him down, and Logan keep going at him, and just the whole way the story unfolded. But I don't remember who it was Brandon was facing, but after the match, he's still beating the guy down or whatever, and Logan comes out. I don't remember if he had a chair, had something with him, chases Brandon off. Brandon gets out of the ring, looks up. Logan climbs up. He's on like the top turnbuckle, looking down, and tells everybody, Brandon wants a match with him, one more match with him, with Space Invader, and he's like, no, you're not going to get it. And that's when he reveals, but you will get a match with Logan Blackheart. And I was unaware he was going to take the Blackheart name. So was a lot of people in the back. It made me a little bit proud because to me, it showed me that my son appreciated what I had done in the business and what I had done to open doors for him. And I felt that that's what he was doing. He was trying to give me a little payback for things I've done for him, driving him to and from training before he could drive and all that. That's probably hands down my favorite moment, was when Logan announced himself as Logan Blackheart, and then the match that would follow him and Brandon, and me being chained to the ring post there during the whole match, and just watching that unfold, and the way it all went down. Brandon Day, and just, he's one of the top guys on the indies right now. Yeah, he could go wrestle anybody that you see on TV and show that he belonged there. And the fact that he had that match with Logan and Logan came out victorious at the end of it, that just also welled me up with pride. The other match that sticks out, that is the finals of the Super Zeta, of course. Of course, it come down to Shauna Reed and Logan, and that just made sense. Them two, with the history they had with Zeta, And they both made me very proud in that match. It was a very good match. Probably the best match either one of them had at that point. And I never get tired of watching it. Whenever it shows up on a Best of Shockwave, or it comes across in my feed from a memory, or related videos when I'm on YouTube, I always watch it. It's one of my favorite moments, and I can't wait, now that we're back at it, to create more moments in FGW.
C to the O to the D to the Y. What's up, FGW? Cody effing Hawk here. Throw it up, throw it down. 1/5 of the 5 most wanted. Man, being asked to describe my favorite moment in FGW, now that's a difficult task. There have been so many amazing moments in the year we were open. From kicking the city's ass and getting our first show off the ground, to pulling the trigger on a television show and getting our show up to a national audience. Shauna Reed jumping off the wall. That first title change in the FGW arena. Amazing, amazing stuff. But for me, for Cody Hawk, 25 years of wrestling, for me, my favorite moment in FGW was when I pinned Drew Skills' shoulders to the mat. 1, 2, 3. Drew Skills came into FGW and plagued Cody Hawk for 8 long months. 8 months, he kicked my ass week in and week out. Now, Drew Skills, he's like a brother to me. And what he did for my own good, and I fully understand that, and I'm completely aware. But at the end of the day, I may be the old man. I may be the longest tenured guy there. I may have more matches under my belt than anyone. My body may be tired and broken and wore out. But I was able to defeat a man 60, 70, 80, 90 pounds heavier than me, way stronger than me, bigger than me, younger than me. Like I said, Drew Skills is like a brother to me. And he pulled my ass out of the fire because Cody Hawk was feeling sorry for himself. Cody Hawk was feeling down. And to tell you the truth, I was on my way out. I was just about to retire from professional wrestling. I had had enough. But Drew Skills, he lit a little spark under me. He lit that fire under my ass, and he made me dance. He made this old man dance. And I thank God every day that he did. So my favorite moment is Cody Hawk pinning Drew Skills to the mat. 1, 2, 3.
A moment in FGW history that, of course, means a lot to me personally would have to be my debut this past January against Eric Fallen. FGW has been on my radar for a very long time, and it's a company I've always wanted to try to get my foot in the door. I finally got that opportunity this past January, and it's very fitting that it's against somebody that I haven't faced since 2011 in Eric Fallen. I knew going into that match that either I was going to end up as a full-time member of the roster, get offered that spot, or I was going to be right back on the drawing board. So I had that extra large chip on my shoulder, and that only encouraged me to do my very best. And by the looks of it, I'd say it went pretty well.
That's my fondest FGW memory for the fans that remember me. It's Origins 2. Jonah Wales hit me on the head with the collection plate. And Roach was there. Roach, the congregation, and you will cross paths again. Jonah, 7 months I've sat there and thought of ways to get back at you. But when the guiding light comes, he will show you the way. FGW, that day is coming soon.
One of my favorite FGW moments was at Origins 2 when the Top Guns finally reunited. Ryan Michaels, Mark Magnum, Eric Fallon. That was the future then. What will be the future now?
Hey everybody, Pretty Little Psycho Shauna Reed here, and my favorite moment in FGW history is becoming the first ever Super Zeta Memorial Champion. Now, if you know anything about me and my history with FGW, you know that me and Super Zeta were pretty much like best friends. He was my trainer, one of my mentors, and he really took me under his wing. And so becoming the first ever Super Zeta Memorial Champion was super important to me because I feel like I need and I want to continue his legacy because he was taken way too young and it just wasn't fair. So being the only female in the Super Zeta Memorial Tournament was a big deal for me and a huge honor. To be going against people like Jay West, Logan Blackheart, Jake Rose, well, that's debatable. But getting to go against some of the best guys in this business and some of the closest friends to Super Zeta and somehow coming out on top with a hell-fought match with me and Logan Blackheart was something I could never, ever describe in full detail the amount of emotion and the amount of heart and soul placed into that match. It meant everything to us, and feeling for the first time since Zeta passed, that was the first time that I actually kind of felt whole and felt like he was really there with us. I miss that man every single day. And looking at that Super Zeta title on my wall, remembering the moment, remembering who it was for, was always worth it.
My favorite FGW moment would easily have to be the Texas Tornado match that the Bold and the Beautiful was in against Hooks in the High Heels of Justice. Obviously, we were going to win that. The best part about that match was when me, Shay, and that other guy picked Hooks up and power bombed him through a table and pinned his shoulders to the mat, proving that the Bold and the Beautiful was the best tag team to ever step foot in an FGW ring.
My favorite FGW moment takes place at Origins 2. Cody F and Hawk versus the monster Drew Skills. At the moment when Drew Skills is absolutely destroying Cody Hawk, when the entire locker room floods the ring and rallies behind Cody. It was an electrifying moment. The emotion from the crowd, it gave me goosebumps that night. And just talking about it right now gives me goosebumps all over again. That is my favorite FGW moment.
My favorite FGW moments, my number one would be my personal favorite because it was personal to me, was March 29th of last year. Jacob Rose and I debuted in a 2-on-1 handicap match against Bad Attitude Brian Beach. That was a big build-up for us, training together, working security together, and then get our big foot in the door push to come on against Brian Beach. Very thankful for that, very blessed. And secondly, my favorite moment would be also Bad Attitude Brian Beach winning the FGW title, but then after that having to relinquish it due to health. Beach has paved the way for us. He's put in hard work and dedication, and he's a good role model in the pro wrestling business. And my third and final favorite would be Drew Skills versus Cody Hawk. Awesome match. It was mentally and physically, and we all were into it, supporting both sides, but very good moment to be a part of. Very blessed, very grateful once again. And I thank you all, the fans, for making each and every one of these possible, and so much more. Thank you.
What's up, Hamilton? Excited to see you all this Friday. It's been a long time coming for, not just me, but for all of us, including you guys. And I know you're just as excited as we are. So really going into that and just to get everything ready, Brian came to us all and said they want us to tell you what our favorite FGW moment of all time is. And I've always said that my favorite moment is the next one, because you're always looking forward to the next moment. And despite all the moments that I've had personally or that others have had in the company, it's always been that next moment that's been my favorite, because it's usually the freshest one, and it's just like the reminder of why you do this. But to be completely honest, there is one moment that stands out more than anything in my actual entire career, not just FGW. So, this really made a mark, on me. It touched me. And that's what this is all about. That's what moments are all about. That's why we do this. And it was at Origins 2, the match between Drew Skills and Cody Hawk. And everyone's out there, came out from the back and is pounding the ring and just cheering Cody on to just, be that guy one more time, be Cody Hawk. And I'm in the back all by myself. I got hurt earlier that night. At that point, adrenaline had worn way off. My shoulder was insanely swelled. I was in a lot of pain. And all of a sudden, for just one moment, you get so sucked into what's going on, you kind of forget everything else. And I was the only one back there and just watching what I consider the greatest FGW moment of all time, and listening to what Drew had to say about his, his former trainer, his mentor, his turned enemy. And it's powerful. And when you see the look on Cody's face when he's just trying to give it all one last time, the emotion and the believability is just still to this day. It's the greatest thing I've seen in wrestling on the indie scene ever, and even just wrestling in general in a very, very long time. And that touches you, and it's just a moment I'll never forget. I've never gone back and actually watched the match again itself because I want to remember what I saw, when I saw, and how I saw it. And it is the FGW moment. To me, that is the moment, and it's what's going to be the one that sets the bar for everyone to chase, including myself. And I personally do think that that's a moment that will never be touched, and it will stand alone forever and be the greatest FGW moment, at least to me, if nothing else. And that's good. That's what I need to drive and keep me going, doing what I love to do. So come Friday, the chase is on to find that next moment. And without that moment at Origins 2, I don't know if I would have that same drive in me that I have now, and that fire. And it's still just powerful. It's even hard to talk about, and I just stumble over words. So thanks, guys. Love you all. Can't wait to see you all Friday. And thanks for believing in us and keeping us here. Hashtag we're still here is now hashtag we're back.
Favorite FGW moment? That's tough. That's really tough, honestly. I mean, what? We're only over a year old and we've already accomplished so much. But if I were to pick one, I think it would have to be the match between Sami Callihan and Ace Austin for the Impact World Championship. Just, wow. It was honestly one of my most favorite and best matches I've seen ever live in person at a wrestling show. And I know some people might go on and go like, oh, Bryce, it's relevancy and personal bias to you because you were a security guard for that match. And like, yes, I was a security guard for that match. Yes, Sami Callihan got thrown into me. That's what made it all the more memorable to me. Like, you know, it's what stuck out to me wasn't so much the fact that, oh, yes, the Impact World Champion at the time got thrown into my gut and then proceeded to fight Sami Callihan while he was sitting in my lap. It wasn't that. It wasn't just the fact that I could have easily raised up that water bottle to his mouth and given him more spit liquid to go shoot at Ace Austin. No, it could have been anything, really. It wasn't just the fact that I was involved. It was the fact that was one of the most amazing matches I've ever seen. And it's the fact that the crowd got into it. The crowd saw two masters of the craft working for the Impact World Championship here in FGW. FGW has, in short lifespan, always gone on and just had such phenomenal talent flow through it. And Sami Callihan especially felt very special. And no, it's not just because he's an Impact star. No, it's not just because Ace Austin's an Impact star, but because it felt like Sami Callihan came home. Sami Callihan was trained by Cody Hawk, who was one of the co-founders of FGW. And so, even though it didn't exist at the time that Sami Callihan was trained, coming back in under the Cody Hawk fold, coming in and seeing those who are the next step, who came after him, but us getting to look up and see the success story, see that we can strive and go do amazing things, that we have the power to do it, that we have the knowledge to do it, being trained by such a strong mind in the form of Cody Hawk. It felt really special because of that. So, call it because it was a homecoming, call it because it was the fact that I got to experience a funny comedy moment for me. But really, it was just, it's hard to put in words. The crowd got really into it as time went on. Sure, there were certainly people who weren't really aware of who the two were at the time, but at the time that match was over. By the time those two left the ring, everyone was on their feet, hooting and hollering for those two. And it was so magical. But that wasn't just the sole time it happened. Far from it. No, there's so many other favorite FGW moments, not just of mine, but of everyone's. And I'm sure you're going to hear more and more about it as other people talk about their favorite moments. Be it Mitch Magnus throughout his entire year of FGW, going on the hunt for the FGW title and finally getting his hands on it after defeating Drew Skills, who, speaking of, talk about the Origins 2 match between Cody Hawk, the mentor, the teacher, the one who taught us all, and his student, Drew Skills. That was one of the most impactful moments as we all flooded the ring cheering on the man who's given us a will and a fire. Just talk about that. Even other things. Talk about how finally FGW defended itself and defeated the Code once and for all. Talk about the numerous different title defenses that Sean Casey has done. Specifically, that comes to mind, like Jacob Rose, and how the people finally got behind the silencer. Talk about so many things. Talk about the final of the Super Zeta Memorial Tournament, who, Lord rest his soul, amen. Super Zeta, who has taught so many of the wrestlers at FGW, in the finals, putting two of his star students in the form of Shauna Reed and Logan Blackheart at the end, crying tears as they practically brutalize each other to live up to the honor of the man that taught them. It's just things like that. Things like that FGW does. And it's things like that that's hard to replicate. It's things like that that's why FGW is one of the greatest indie promotions in this landscape. Not just in Southwest Ohio, but of all, even in our short lifespan. Because we have put on so many good moments. We put so many stories together. Fans, every time I hear it, be it working in the ring as a security guard or working the concession stands, every time I hear so many different friends go, just wow. So many have gotten so much entertainment. They have found a new livelihood. They found new hobbies. They've found new interests. We've literally had some people find love. We had a wedding. A literal wedding. What wrestling promotion in their first year can say they had a wedding? Not us. We have people who went and got FGW tattoos because there are just that many people who believe in us. And not just they believe us, we believe in us. We here at FGW, we've all put together so much. We've worked so hard. And we're going to continue to work hard. We want to make these moments for you. We're going to continue to make these moments for you. This health crisis might have knocked us down for a while. It might have kicked us out. We had to take a 7-month break, but we're finally back this Friday, the Friday after that, the Friday following. Barring any more complications, we are going to be here, and we are going to be here to entertain you. We're going to be here to continue to show you why FGW is one of the greatest promotions around. We're going to show you the talent that's flowed through our doors, that have worked and worked and worked, and are just so strong-willed in wanting to work and show you that we care so much for you fans. We're going to continue to talk about your favorite FGW moments, and we're going to continue to create them as time goes on. FGW is approaching its 2nd year anniversary, and be it through the end of 2020 and through 2021, 2022, and every year following that, FGW is going to be here to show you what we're made of. You can guarantee that. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday, and the Friday after that, and the Friday after that. We'll be here. And we can't wait to see you again. Have a good night, everyone.
My favorite FGW moment would be when I debuted my finisher called the Widowmaker. It was against an opponent named Ari Alexander. And let's just say, I don't think she saw it coming. Really, I don't think anybody saw it coming. It surprised everybody. And I'm glad it surprised everybody. Because the reaction just made me feel amazing. It let me know that I can surprise people still. I can show them what I can do. And what was even better is that the week after, when I came through the curtain, the fans were still chanting my name and still wanting to see more, wanting to see what else I can do. And it just felt so amazing. And I'll never forget that. I'll always remember it.
And there you have it.